Linda maintained a careful distance, letting another car slip between them as they headed toward the main road. She'd never followed anyone before, had only seen it done in movies. Every red light made her panic that she'd lose them. Every turn required split-second decisions. The Mercedes headed toward downtown Homestead's business district. After 15 minutes, it pulled into the parking lot of a modern office building, Whitmore Industries. According to the large sign out front, Linda recognized if everyone in Homestead knew. Gregory's real estate development company. She parked across the street behind a delivery truck, giving her a partial view of the building's entrance. Her hands shook as she turned off the engine. What was she doing, following prominent citizens around town like some kind of private detective? But then she remembered that necklace. The letters ONS raise urgent words about the boss. The Mercedes sat idling near the entrance. Within minutes, Gregory emerged from the building, his stride purposeful. He was still wearing the same clothes from the morning, but looked more agitated, constantly checking his watch. Ray got out of the driver's seat as Gregory approached. Linda watched them exchange keys, Ray handing over the Mercedes keys and accepting Daniel's BMW keys. In return, Gregory slid into the driver's seat of his beloved Mercedes, while Ray walked to the BMW parked in a reserved spot. The younger man, Otis, remained in the Mercedes passenger seat. Both cars pulled out of the lot. The BMW turned left, presumably heading back to the Whitmore estate. The Mercedes turned right, heading south. Linda waited a beat, then followed. They were leaving Homestead's commercial district, passing through residential neighborhoods that grew sparser with each mile. Soon they were on US 1, heading toward Florida City. Linda's confusion grew. Where could they be going? Then Gregory's Mercedes took a familiar turn off the entrance to Everglades National Park, the same route she'd driven that morning. Linda's chest tightened. Why would Gregory bring this mysterious young man here? She let several visitor vehicles get between them as they entered the park. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the sawgrass prairies. Tourist traffic was lighter than in the morning, but still provided cover. Gregory's car pulled into the Ernest Cove Visitor Center parking lot. Linda found a spot behind a large RV where she could observe without being obvious. She watched Gregory and the young man exit the vehicle and head toward one of the marked trails. Linda waited a full minute before following. She grabbed a parked brochure and held it open. Just another tourist consulting a map. The main trail was busy enough that she could maintain distance without seeming suspicious. For the first half hour, they followed the standard tourist path. Linda pretended to photograph birds and vegetation. Whenever they glanced back, the landscape gradually changed from wetlands to rockier terrain. A wooden sign indicated they were entering the Long Pine Key region. The elevation increased subtly. The limestone ground became more prominent, and scattered pine trees replaced the sawgrass. From certain vantage points, Linda could see the vast swampy areas stretching to the horizon. The contrast was striking. Dry, rocky ridges rising like islands from the watery prairie. A few other tourists dotted the trail, but as the afternoon wore on, their numbers dwindled. Linda's unease grew. The deeper they went, the more isolated it became. Then she saw Gregory and his companion veer off the main trail, onto an unmarked path. Linda's heart raced. Following them now meant abandoning the safety of public spaces, but she'd come this far. She waited until they were almost out of sight, then followed. The unofficial trail was rougher, requiring careful navigation over limestone outcroppings and through dense vegetation. Sweat trickled down her back in the humid air. Mosquitoes buzzed around her face. After another 20 minutes of difficult hiking, she heard voices ahead. Linda crept forward, using a thick stand of sawgrass and limestone boulders as cover. Through the vegetation, she could see them in a small clearing on a dry ridge. They were completely alone out here. Point to the exact spot. Gregory's voice carried clearly in the still air. I need to know precisely where you buried the bitches. Body, if the police get close, I need to be prepared. Linda's blood ran cold. She pressed herself lower behind the rocks, barely breathing. The younger man Gregory had called him. Otis walked to a section of ground heavy with brush and undergrowth. Here, I buried Melissa right here. 6 feet down, just like you said. The limestone was tough, but we got